I'm going to be real with you. I'm not entirely... wow. I'm not entirely sure what we're going to be doing here right now today. We've got a lot of stuff to take a look at. I'm going to set my scalability back to like medium just because it's a little bit lighter. I'm not entirely sure what we're going to be doing here today. The basic idea is we've been going through the entire game, like level by level, area by area, and reworking things as we run into them. Last time we kind of finished doing that entire process with the tutorial area, at least as far as I'm going to, because this tutorial area is 100% placeholder anyway. Like, this is in here just for like test playing and just like messing about a little bit. By the time the entire game is finished, I'm going to go back over this anyway and like remake it, because then the entire game will be finished and I know what will have to be tutorialized to begin with. So now we're going to do that entire process, but we're going to be doing it with where is the thingy, the jig thing over here, with the first semi-complete dungeon of the game, which is the purple colored dungeon. I already have like a block out for the red one as well, which I can like show you real quick. There's nothing much to it. I'm just going to show you this as unlit, just so that you can see it a little bit better. There's nothing much to it. This doesn't even like have materials applied to it yet or anything. It's just a bunch of blocks, literally. So we're not going to be working with that today. We're going to be working with the ones in the purple section here. Everything that is like bricked up with these purple bricks. That will maybe include redoing some of the lighting to make things look a little bit brighter. That might definitely will include this little combat challenge over here, which is just horrendous at the moment. And it will include whatever we run into, realistically speaking. So let's get started with all that. I have a save game, I think, set here in the central hub. Let's actually make a save game for that just a little bit higher up in the save menu, just so that I don't have to scroll down as much. And then I will also change my audio to go over my headphones so that you guys don't have any echo in. We don't need this one anymore. Okay, that said, let's put this over on my headphones and then rebalance my audio a little bit real quick, just so I don't go fucking deaf. And we're ready to go. So, we have this purple big ass door. The first thing that we're going to run into is this room over here. And you can immediately see that I need to like do a fair bit more to the lighting here. That also is really quite jarring in how it works. But that's just kind of the ability that these guys have. And there's not much to do about that, really. So we won't do much about that. Do they have in their AI that they have to run away when they're low on health? Because that's actually getting a little annoying. I'm not gonna lie. I think that's how their AI works. Or maybe they're trying to get to. Oh, we're back at this again. We haven't fixed that bug yet. Okay. So that's something that we need to fix. So immediately, before even doing any level design, we are going to be looking at some bugginess still. So we have these guys, and let's take a look at their like behavior tree asset. So I actually don't think I love. Oh, just doesn't have the find patrol location thing. So it just does weird stuff. So if can see player is set and the distance is less than 250, it moves to the... Less than 250? Are you insane? I guess I troubleshot. I don't know what the pass standard that will be. That in the past and that value might just work. Otherwise, like we have this move to patrol location, run EQS on regular basis. So that would be okay. So when it's below 95% health and the distance to the player is less than 1100, it runs away to a thing far away from the player. So that just should probably be like under 10% instead, and then it might be a little bit less annoying. Otherwise, if the player is less than 1000, move to the player location. And otherwise, we just... and that's the thing that's broken, I think. So we have the enemies, characters, ground, basic demon. Like this setup that we have right here, we just need to run a query, move to, and wait. Like this is what we need to do. This should also be on a slightly longer cooldown, I feel, like 25 seconds. I wish you could say for a cooldown that it should start as being locked. Because right now it will start as being not locked. And you can do that with like a tag, but I don't care enough to do that. Let's remove this stuff and then put this sequence as just patrolling. Okay, so that fixes one of the issues. The other issue, I think, had to do with like here animation stuff, right? So if we go into here, the issue is that the animation is being cancelled and that doesn't, like that does something. I just don't remember what. We made a separate death slot, so this animation can never be cancelled. It's set to the death slot, so that... Why does that still happen? Ah. Okay, that's kind of weird. That implies that it might be down to a different bug than I thought it might. Or at least they won't run away until they're almost dead now, so that's good. I think it's something to do with the fact that they're doing the revenge attack on the... Yeah, there you go. So when they attack while dying, which they shouldn't be able to do to begin with, right? So, like, that is... like, that is one thing. When they start to die, they should cease all AI functionality. Jesus Christ. Oh, these are all the separate particle systems, yeah. So where do we have, like... I think we can do this in a place where it applies to every single enemy at once, which would be nice. So if we just, like, sword attack base, I think it is, right? I don't think it should be called sword attack base, but hey, whatever. So yeah, we have the destroy enemy, which is the enemy stats component, which I don't use anymore, but well, I do have this. We have the on enemy enemy death broadcast. We then kill the actor and kill actor does... But it doesn't actually do that. Hold on. It doesn't actually do that until the end of the animation. So what's going on there? Right. Yes. So when this is less than or equal to 0, we do the destroy enemy function. But then what the fuck even is like this other stuff? Is that destroy enemy? Is that a notify class? Destroy? That's not spelled properly. Nope. No, that's not it. Do you know how to switch it from a third person to a first person with a nice animation going between them? Yeah, that is effectively as easy as just using the set view targets, I think. You might need like a player controller for that. Set view target with blend, and then this takes in it takes in an actor object reference. That's a good question. In that case, it might be a little bit more tricky to set up. I don't really have a immediate answer to that. Let me check a couple of things real quick. If I can find my player, that is characters player. When you have a camera, I think it just like has a I'm not entirely sure how you can. I know that you can take pictures in real time, but I don't know exactly how that would work. But I believe Unreal has a bunch of built-in features for that. Actually, what you probably want to do is get camera, get player camera manager, and from there is set camera maybe. Turns on camera fading at a given opacity, does not auto animate. Yeah, so what you'd probably need to do, because it doesn't seem to be a good way to like switch between two camera components on one actor, so you'd probably need to animate into like an offset with the player camera manager or something like that. I'm not entirely sure. Going back to this guy being destroyed. Destroy enemy. Runs, kill enemy. And this should then like get controller. We need to cast that to an AI controller. AI controller from get controller, and then we can stop. What is it? I don't remember. Oh, there's get brain. That's what we need to do, and this one has the stop logic function. There we go. Stop logic needs to take in a reason. Can we just say death? as just a normal string? We probably can, right? I'm going to hope that we can. Yeah, I think this... no, actually, no. We'll do this differently. I just realized an issue with this, because this is still only going to run at the end of that animation, and it needs to run at the start of the animation instead. So that it cannot run any more abilities through behavior tree. So what I'll actually do is, when we are in the sort attack base, when we run this destroy enemy thing, which I have no idea what it even does at this point, to be honest with you, we'll also get AI controller, or get controller rather. What the fuck? Oh, that's the enemy stats components. This is the normal enemy. So get AI controller, and we will get the brain components, and we'll stop logic this way. So this way it'll stop logic immediately once it sees that it's supposed to be dying. I think this will fix the issue that we would have a moment ago there, but it's going to be difficult to actually test that. So we're going to need to make sure that we have everything under control. Overall, my favorites. Why all the work needs to be redone? Because why not? Exactly. It's not exactly an overhaul as much as it is, hey, what we did for the first dungeon, we're going to be doing for the second dungeon, and it's just walking through, seeing where there's issues, and fixing those issues. And I expect that there's going to be a lot more to do with level design in these ones than before. Because the level design for these is actually going to be somewhat like final, and not just placeholder. So I'm going to be a lot more strict on it. Okay, so far that seems to work pretty well. Oh, I think the issue that we fixed last time was something different. The issue that we fixed last time is not being able to attack them. What the fuck? Why did I? Oh, when you attack with those things around you. Huh, interesting. The issue that I fixed last time was to do with not being able to hit them anymore. After they start dying. Not them not being able to hit you anymore, which is equally as important, I would argue. Does stop logic forget the blackboard state? I believe that it does, yes. I also believe that these guys do not have collision. I think that it does do that, because there's also, I think there's also a pause logic, which will just stop the behavior tree from running, but this is actually just gonna straight up stop your behavior tree from running. Like we also have, right? Maybe it doesn't actually. Maybe this... I'm not entirely sure. I'm not entirely sure if it's going to wipe the blackboard. I thought there was also a pause logic. Oh, there's a start logic, there's a restart logic. So I'm guessing stop logic doesn't actually wipe the blackboard. What I'm guessing happens is when you do start logic, it starts fresh, and when you do restart logic, it keeps going with the state that it was in, I guess. Well, I haven't tested that out. I have no actual idea. Do you know how to fix the blob issue in layout mode? Works fine in animation mode? I have no idea what you mean. So no. 1-1. We just put the ghost blueprints back in. Through this BP ghosts. Yeah, I don't give a shit. Put 2 of them there. These 2 are probably also fucked up, so let's just... While we're at it, might as well. Do you have all your levels on 1 persistent level? Yes, I do. And I will eventually figure out whether or not that's a bad idea. I think it'll be fine. Like obviously I can just toggle them off because I have them stored in these folders when I'm not working on them. And when we're in game, only one of them is going to be loaded at a time anyway. But it makes creating a loading system and like persistent character data so much easier than loading into actual like new instance levels every single time. So that's why I have them all like this. I just stream in a level instance when I want to. That also works. I specifically do this because I want to be able to like put the levels together in a way that makes some sort of spatial sense. Because I do think that players will feel that kind of thing, right? So when you exit this room, you enter this hallway, which is about the right like size and bend to end up here. And now you can see there is a little bit of room in between here and there, but there is a door here that actually leads into this door here. So there's like some sort of pretty close like spatial stuff going on. And some of them do overlap and stuff like that. Like we are still like making a game and as such lying to the player. But I personally think that this is like, I like having all this laid out like that. Okay, with all that, guess we fucking load game again. I already have a video, not about a main menu, but I have a video about making loading screens and like loading levels and stuff like that. It's not quite recognizing. Also, the attack is not overriding that, so I probably should look into that animation blueprint for that. And you should go die. There we go. Some nice souls or experience or whatever you want to call it. Why do these guys, I know why these guys don't do what I want them to do, because I have a bool on the enemy class that makes them start as not being active. That really should be just true by default, but hey, here we are. Start active, there we go. While we're at it, might as well go back into like basic demon. Just need a reference somewhere to one of his animations. I just want to check out what his animation graph looks like, because I feel, I'm not really sure, but I feel like this guy has a group for attacking as well, right? So he will have his normal stuff, then his attacking slots, then his revenge attack slot, which takes priority over that even, and then his death slots. So if we compare that to this, we only have the default slots. So that should be the, let's call that the attack slot, but the revenge attack slot should take priority over that and that. So let's go back to here. And here we have the slot manager. We add a slots, revenge attack slots, very badly spelled. It's the asset browser. We look for the revenge montage, and we make sure that that plays on the revenge attack slots instead, and that fucks up the curve that we had on this. Does it? I guess it's okay, fixed up. Good. Sure. bit by bit we are fixing up these enemies, and we are still not outside of that first room, right? We've been going at this for 25 minutes so far. Still in that first room. Haven't done any actual level design yet, just fixing up the weird quirks with that enemy's AI. But I think at this point we will have fixed it up. That'll be good. I also think that those particle systems, that's a thing, isn't it? Yeah, need to look into that as well. I also do think that whatchamacallit, there should be a percentage chance for them to do those teleport attacks. Just when there's more than one of them in a room, you don't want like 5 of them teleporting right on top of you. Which means that there's a couple of ways to do that actually, because what the fuck, why does it suddenly show that? There is just a random chance, or there is a like random deviation to the, oh no, actually there's not. How are we gonna do that actually? That's a fantastic question. Where did you get the sounds? I made them. Which is why there's only like 3 sounds in the game so far, because those are the ones I've made. I also have like a sound library that I still need to go through to like replace some of these sounds and add in some new sounds and fucking mix stuff together. There's a lot of sound design needed to be done still. But that's a future me problem. So I guess this actually would work as a like random chance. If we do the cooldown first and then the random chance, I think it only will try this once every, let's say, back to 15 seconds. And then the chance would be like 35%, something like that. This again is going to be something that we need to do a couple of times before we actually get an answer as to whether or not it works. Unless it's just going to work right away and it's only going to have one of them teleport to me, that would be fantastic. Only one of them teleported to me, so it works. And now the second one is going to like show up at some point, which there's still some problem with the fact that they just randomly show up. But that's also kind of like the point, so I don't know, maybe that's not a problem. Maybe that's good. And now he's running away. When he's running away, I literally just cannot hit him anymore. Which is a bit of an issue. And I like that they're pretty fast when they're going toward you. So maybe for now... maybe for now just like get rid of that bit. Just cause. I don't really want to deal with that from a design perspective at the moment. We'll deal with that. Now, do we need to change anything majorly about this room? This room feels a little bit dark on one side, which is good, but it's a little too dark, I feel. And it's also a little empty, right? So... yeah, before we do anything else, I'm going to throw in a couple extra lights here. So, like a rectangle lights. Probably should turn on snapping. And we're going to just make that like quite big. Like, what if we make this like 2000 by 2000 and then make it like way more into... Oh, that's maybe a little too big. Maybe not. I don't know. We'll see. Definitely the attenuation radius also needs to be bigger, right? And then the intensity can go back down again. Issue with this is that it doesn't really show the ceiling that well, this method, but it does show everything else. And that's really what I care about at the moment. And it can also like subtly imply a direction to go, right, when you place your lights, because maybe this one shouldn't cast shadows at all, actually. Because this is now more well lit and this is more well lit as well, so it'll naturally attract the eye going this direction. And then we can also probably still add some more lights to this side, don't get me wrong, but it's probably going to be a little bit dimmer over in this half of the map. And not have a light actually shining as much on the door, I think. We do have a light shining on the door, though. Just got to make the inner cone angle a little bit larger. Something like that. I think I remember why I made that small. So this at least shows things of a little bit more. We can make the color for them still slightly more purple, I think. But less purple than the rest. Don't want to just overdo it with the purple. Like slightly more. If we go back to white, yeah, this is pretty good. That feels improved. Let's walk through it real quick. I always second guess myself when it comes to lighting. This still feels like it. Am I crazy, or did I just not add any extra light to this? This feels... Well, no, there's definitely some more light here now. And again, it's entirely fine that there is dark spots. Like that's... Not everything should be lit entirely equally. You know what I think we could do with? We could do with a couple of skull lanterns. Lantern. Skull lantern. Probably a good idea to like add a handful of these. Like lighting purposes, and then put this on unlit just so that we can... Something like that. You know what? Let's not just put these down like that. Let's put on snapping so that we know that it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 500 between them. Actually works out fairly well. Now we can just do... Fucking flies on a microphone, of all things. We do need to maybe like do some rotation for them. Because they seem to be rotating slowly outside of the actual level bounds, which is maybe not ideal. I'm missing one that's literally inside the wall. And then we can unselect this, reselect this one. At this point, it's just a matter of world space, ever so slightly rotate this so that they're all... Probably could have just used like surface snapping for that, to be honest with you. Okay, now that we're at this anyway, might as well pull them out a little bit down and see what this looks like in lit mode. You see, there's a lot more going on here now, right? It also is casting that light on the walls. You know, I actually do think that at some point we set the... Why do I have 3 fucking skylights? What the fuck? But at some point I did set the skylights intensity to only 0.5. If we just set that back up to 1, it does make some of the areas look a little bit flat as far as lighting goes, but everything will at least be a little bit more visible. But specifically the skylight is the thing that changes around quite a lot when it comes to... So I think I have... Anyway, when it comes to like scalability settings, the skylight is kind of like problematic at times. Yeah, so this is an improvement. I also, yeah, so what I think is actually the issue here is that I'm not using game settings to set up this lighting. Now my game settings lighting, like exposure compensation, is just set to being a little too dark. So like if we go to exposure, auto exposure, maybe not. Oh, that's an added up references. Yeah, that's not going to be in there. Where's my projects settings? Surely it's in here somewhere. Project settings. There we go. Opens on my second monitor. Auto exposure. Yeah, so the exposure bar is set to -2.5. Let's set that to -1 instead. I think, yeah, that's making things look a lot better already. Maybe -1.5. Because again, I think that the idea that everything just looks a little bit dark is good. If we have... like, if we have a, like, histogram, the, like, luminosity value is this. And this is just... like that direction is just pixels, right? That's what a histogram does. I don't want almost anything except maybe light sources themselves to be up here. Like most of the game should probably like quote unquote clip up here, and then the like average should be about here at about like 40% brightness or something like that. But I think that this kind of accomplishes that. That this shows you a lot more of what's actually going on. I'm still not 100% sold on using auto exposure, to be honest with you. But it does make for easier, more versatile. Like now that we're in this corner, it's exposing up a little bit, which is good because there's less lights here. Right, so I actually... Oh, that's the wrong button. I'm not supposed to have that weapon in here yet. There's the dungeon where you get that. So at some point I need to implement that system. And the fact that these guys can clip through walls and that kind of stuff is also... like I'm not 100% sure what I'm going to do about that, though. But yeah, this feels a lot better, right? Like I can actually see what's going on now. And there still is some contrast. There still is color difference between areas. And that then, like, just the walls themselves probably could do with being a little less dark still. Well, no, I kind of like the look of this as far as like the brightness goes. That also makes the character, like against this pitch black wall, the character's now standing out a little bit more. That was also an issue that we had a moment ago. Yeah, this specific hallway needs something more going for it because nothing actually happens here, right? So let's take a look at that. I think what we need to do in order to make this more interesting is, like, it's fine that we need to jump up here to do something, but then, like, this area just has random enemies in it, which is fine, but it's too easy to skip them. Like, you should at least have to walk past them in order to skip them. So what I'm thinking is, like, honestly, what am I thinking? That's a good question. I don't know what I'm thinking. Let me think about what I'm thinking. At the moment, I'm thinking that maybe we want to move these objects like a little bit. Oh, no, snapping. We want to move these objects a little bit closer to the door so that the is a slightly more... Oh, that feels like you're going to be able to soft lock yourself on it. Actually, no, you can probably jump over that. It's probably fine. But still, it's going to bother me otherwise. Let's go into modeling mode. Polygroup edit. Just take this and move it over there. UVs are fucked up, but that doesn't matter. Yeah, that's a little bit better. Just a little bit, not a lot. Let's also move it a little bit more out again. That's at least is slightly straight. And now that we're at it anyway, might as well just auto UV this. Ooh, no, that's bad. Hold on, that's bad. Don't do that. What's up with the scaling? I mean, we can just... There's a window for this, right? Somewhere. UV editor, there we go. Where? Transform. Oh, it has both of those objects in it. Oh, oh, that's... Oh. So I also moved this over, did I? Yes, I did. Okay. We'll take a look at that later. That's... Oh, that's not good. That's quite bad. Don't know why I would ever do that. That's... No. Horrible idea. Still leaves me with something needs to be done here. And I don't know what that would be. Because it needs to be something that works from both directions as well. Okay, so what I'm thinking at the moment is that we change this up a little bit in how the platforming works. So if we put this platform all the way back over here, for instance, right? And we make the platforming work a little bit more something like this. Then what we can do is we can simply add in a Actually, I can do this just simply in modeling mode and create a new. Let's just do a box. It's fine. That is a line. That's good. Right, you see where I'm going with this? Probably. Make it a little bit higher even. Make this like 1500, like 1750. I don't know, that might be a little much. Yeah, that's a little much. Let's go for 1600s. A little bit more of the height. Make it just clip through here, that's fine. Oh, we're working in the wrong level. We'll fix that in a moment. That's not something we should be doing. Otherwise, it's not going to be loading in, and that's not what we want. So we want this to be in level 1-3, right? So that will be 1-3 hallway. Move selected actors to level. And then the idea would be that hold on. Blueprint at it. We just extrude this out like 100 units or something. Okay, you can't extrude per unit, can you? Because that would altogether be too fucking good. And then just extrude this up. I think with push-pull, you might be able to do it per unit. Maybe not. Like if we just pull this up like that. It kind of creates this like semi-hallway. That we can then do whatever with still. With, like, we can put some windows in this later. And maybe make it conform a little bit more to the shape of the actual thing at some point as well. But like being in here, well, that's actually going to be a bad jump. Let's not do that. Can do this one over here, this one over there, and then this one can go all the way back here actually. So we at least need to make sure that we can't make this jump, so we have to go down and make our way back up to go through there. Is that good level design? I don't know. I always have trouble deciding if something is good level design. When I make it, when I play something, I immediately know when something sucks. Usually when it makes me die is when it sucks. I do like those lanterns. I don't like the fact that they're shining on the actual wall themselves. I need to get that fixed up. Oh, speaking of things shining on walls, yeah, that definitely is an issue. Okay, so I can just still make this jump, right? Like with a dash in midair. Like that's like not even close to missing that. But that's a pretty neat way of doing it. I probably should connect this up to this part, which actually now that I'm talking about it, that's a perfect opportunity for me to say, hey, this modeling mode, like everything around this mesh over here. Can I select like entire? I want to select like entire objects, like everything that's connected. Can I do that? I think I have everything that's connected now, except the bottom here. It's probably a better way of doing this, but it's too late for that now. Delete edges. Right, that's just how we do that now. So from there we can go back into poly group edits, and then this can push pull. We can use this for push pull. Don't care about the UVs, just need this to like line up. Same thing for here, just pull them down. Ooh, no. Actually, don't just pull that down. Definitely extrude that, or push pull, which is just extrude, but fancy. Yeah, that's a lot better. That makes these things actually connect to each other, which is quite nice, right? And then what I'm thinking is we probably need to like insert a edge loop like right here. Done. Select these two faces, push pull. Might be enough, to be honest. Let's just test it out. It's probably not grabbable at the moment, is it? Like for the edge hanging mechanic. And once again, we still definitely need to make sure that we can't just jump and dash from this area over here immediately to this pillar. Like it's... I'm not entirely sure how we're going to manage that, but we do need to figure... Okay, that's one way of doing it. Like this is the thing that we wanted to do. Honestly, what we probably need to do is we need to make this just a bit bigger, have some more room for the platforming, and make the platforms more than these pillars, so that there can be enemies on those platforms as well. That's probably something that we will need to do. Yeah, so, but once we have the edge hanging, we will be able to make that jump, and not even close. Okay. Go back into modeling mode for that. Whatever else happens, this is a thing that we need to change anyway. Like, why? Hold on. Why does that not? Wait, what the fuck? What the hell is this edge? What the hell is this edge? Even. Okay, I'll do this differently. What we'll do is, I think we can just weld, right? That's the thing that we can do. Merge selected edges. That's not what I want to do. Is that what I want to do? That might be what I want to do. I don't know. You know what? We can probably just... that's the issue. I used push-pull. I should have just used extrude instead. Can I still save this? I might be able to. I don't know these modeling tools well enough to know. But I might be able to, like, if I delete edges. No. Maybe if I weld all this. No. Bridge? No. Didn't think so. Okay. Hold on, we can, instead of inserting an edge loop, we can just insert an edge. I'm an idiot. Right, we can just say, hey, this to fucking there, new edge. That's what I was looking for, the equivalent to the knife tool. And then we can just grab this edge and move it up. And grab these two faces and move them up a little bit as well. And then this, we're just going to actually take that third, please. Move it along a little bit. Together with this one. We'll get there. And then this, we're going to just extrude. In world space, please. Can I extrude this in world space? Please tell me I can just extrude this in world space. No, I can't. And it's still... My God. It's very nice that it can do all this intelligent stuff, don't get me wrong, but it's also sometimes a little bit annoying. Because it tries to do stuff intelligently that you don't want it to do, and it kind of fucks you up, like, a lot. I don't know, man. Let's just see if this is alright. Might be, might not be. I think we need to expand a little bit into like that direction over there. With this hallway as well. So we might need to... Oh my fucking hell. What even is any of this? I might just scrap this and start from zero with this hallway, to be honest with you, because holy fuck. This is real. I don't know what I was on when I was doing this, but it's bad. Yeah, I'm just gonna remove this. And we're gonna start from the beginning by adding a box. And this box is going to have already some issues, clearly. We'll get back to those issues in a moment. First, I want to flip the normals so that we have like the inside actually being the outside and the other way around, because it's going to be a room and not an object. And then from there, we can work out how we're actually going to do this shit. So let's first and foremost make this a little higher. And a bit wider. Not as wide as an entire room. Needs to still like feel like a hallway. Alright. And then pull this across a little bit. And then we can maybe... start doing some funny stuff with it. I don't know. Is there any way to like... I guess we can extrude this out now. All right. Now we have this deform thing, so maybe we can take a look a little bit into this. Like if we put a lattice on this, does this have, it just straight up doesn't have enough geometry for that though, right? Because if we just go into wireframe mode, like this is all the geometry that there is to it, so probably not a good way of doing it. But what we might be able to do is subdivide it. I think it would be in mesh. Don't want to remesh it, just want to maybe a model. Polygon, boolean, mesh got no X form, right? That would be weird. That makes entirely new meshes, everything I'm going to create, so probably don't want to do that. Oh, subdivide is right here. I'm an idiot. Just linear or bilinear. If we go back into polygroup edit, we still have this, but now if we try to deform things with like this lattice, for instance, we'll actually have the geometry to do stuff, which will be nice. Can like take this and it'll actually like slightly deform stuff a little bit now. So we can make this feel a little bit more like this curving, maybe. Say soft deformation. What does that do? Oh, that does not what I thought it would. The fall off for that is just fucking enormous. I guess. Maybe. Why can I not change the resolution of the ladder? I don't know. I've never used that one before. What does warp do? Ooh, warp is interesting. It's kind of messing with my mind at the moment, but I think this might be kind of what we're looking for, actually. Anyway, do you have any tips on making the third-person controller feel better? That's a very general question. Like the character movement component definitely has some values that need to be tweaked for whatever you're doing. So generally, one thing to do is increasing the jump height and also increasing the gravity. That'll oftentimes improve things quite a bit. Okay, hold on. We can actually, this doesn't deform at all now. This is the curvature. This is actually kind of what I wanted. And this is then how long that curvature takes, right? So we can create curvature to this now. So if we do this, we can kind of create a curved hallway. Okay. I actually think that might be pretty nice doing it this way. I'm just experimenting, to be honest with you. But if we... I don't even know what I did there. I thought I was going to push-pull. Apparently not. Wait, what the fuck? Where is... Oh, it just didn't take that last face with it, did it? Is that what's happening? Yeah, it's just open now. Is that face the other way around? No, what the hell? What happened to that? What happened to that? Oh, hold on. No, actually, that face is still there. It's just the push-pull that I did that fucked it up, I think. Right, because now on the inside here, yeah. Okay, let's cancel action and instead try to extrude. You can extrude a little bit outward. Then we can extrude again. Welcome to the club. I also, I'm not particularly great at level design. So we can suffer together. Okay. I do like this warping tool though, but it seems to maybe be I guess I don't want to warp anything like on this side, right? Yeah, so that's how that works. Okay. And then I can take this handle and pull it all the way the other way around. Oh, that needs more geometry. that needs more geometry first. Because this probably is now just... Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. Probably should have thought about that. Okay. I guess what we can do is we can just like poly edits and insert edge loops. And that is certainly a thing that we can do. It's just a matter of can I do multiple at a time? Okay, so let's say that we want to set a new one like every like 100 units. No, that's like every. Is that not every 1,000 units, is it? Yeah, definitely not. Then it would be every 500 units. Is kind of a weird thing. I think that's what it's at. So let's. I guess we can just add a bunch of them pretty quickly like this. Still would prefer to just be able to say, hey, give me 10 new edge loops, like I can in Blender, but, you know, could be worse. Scroll wheel doesn't change the amount. I don't think so. It doesn't Blender and any software that makes sense. But let's just check. Nah, it just zooms me in and out. Plus or minus keys. Don't do anything. It's probably a way to do it that I'm not aware of. Anyway, let's go back to unlit mode. And back to using this warp, because actually, again, quite like the way that this warping tool works. Except that it still doesn't seem like it's handling this as if it has more geometry. Did I not? Did I not? Did I not? Did I not? I did not. God damn it. Well, now we're at that anyway. I'm going to go Google and see if Unreal modeling mode add multiple edge loops. It's going to be a learning opportunity. Okay, doesn't find anything on Google. I mean, I looked for 5 seconds, to be fair, but eh. Yeah, that seems like something that should be functionality, and maybe it is, and I just don't know how. But it also feels like something that probably should be pretty obvious to like users. So, um, like I'm glad that we have insert edge loop here. That is really really nice. That we just have something for that, and like this is not a bad like halfway fixed solution. To be fair, like this kind of works, but only kinda. Okay, so now we have the geometry. Oh, we need to accept. I didn't accept last time. That's what I did. Try again. We warp. No warping in this direction. And then make the curve a bunch wider. Oh, no. That's like the 180-degree curve is actually good. We need to make it longer. Oh, we need to do both. Okay. So if we make this longer and then this... It's kind of weird how this works, actually. How does this work? And this does give interesting results, I'll give you that. Not quite what I was looking for. Oh, that's definitely not what I'm looking for. Hold on. It's also deforming the width of this thing a little too much, right? I don't think, personally, doing like the level layouts in Blender makes a lot of sense for me. Like anything that is a prop or a character, I will make in Blender. But I think level layouts make sense to do. Because I can just kind of like move this around a little, right? As well. Yes, I can. So yeah, level layouts specifically, I think makes sense to do in Engine. And then if we do a little bit, yeah, no, that's not doing it. Never mind. Let's see. Do we have anything else that I could maybe like? This warping tool looked really promising until it didn't. Like, I'm not entirely sure what the fuck is up with any of this. I want this to be about what happens, and then I want the radius to just like. But why does it stop over here, right? That's my question. Why does it not pull it all the way the fuck around? I think this just needs to be. So I guess that bit just needs to be longer because it only warps it around. It doesn't stretch it, which I guess that makes sense. Maybe a little bit. Mm. But now it's stretching it out more. So, fuck do I even know? Okay, definitely don't mess with your rotation there too much. So what if we pull this around more now? And then pull this back in. I mean, we're definitely starting to run low on geometry, but I also want this curve to be nowhere near this big, so that's okay. I'm just trying to figure out how this works, really. It's even less intuitive than Blender's spinning tool, which is quite impressive. Because Blender's spinning tool is absolutely insane. I think it works more or less in the same way, actually. Yeah, so now I can make this curve as big as or a small. Okay, so I think I've kind of got it now. Right, so we can go like this and then have a straight bit again. I guess it kind of makes sense. Maybe. If you squint hard enough. And then pull this like all the way through to there. And then that's fine. This gives us a lot more area to work with anyway, as far as like the level 2 design. Yeah, that's good enough. Because the issue was it's just too easy to skip over this part of the hallway. Just kind of like jump over it and ignore it. Just not fun. And this twisting back and forth probably makes it feel a little more interesting anyway, I think. So with this warping tool, I think what it does, and I'm actually going to add it to favorites because I'm going to try to like get better at using it. What it does is it warps in the shape of those yellow lines, right? So everything around the pivot point. So when you change the pivot point, it changes like what parts it warps. And these yellow lines you can influence with these green handles. So that is how you can like warp the entire thing around. But in my case, what I did is I said, hey, everything on this side of the curve is just like not going to get warped. And then when I move this cursor around, that will influence that. So everything on this side of the 3D cursor will not be getting warped now. Everything on this side will be getting warped, and it will be getting warped this far in both of these directions relative to where the cursor itself is. So it actually does function quite like the spinning tool in Blender. Just a little bit more dynamic, I suppose. And now we have the issue that we have a bunch of lights existing that's not going to do anything. So first and foremost, we have, thank you, auto exposure. Like all these lights here don't really do anything anymore. So we need to figure out where the fuck they are. So where are they? I guess we just remove the lights that exist and place down new ones because the level is so different at this point. Improved and better, but very different. Okay, so At this point, I think we also want to like remodel this little thing, so we might as well throw that away. All these enemies, don't ask why they all have their own individual cameras. I will fucking get to fixing that at some point. For the moment it works and it doesn't actually impact performance, unless I'm selecting multiple enemies, at which point, like for the in editor performance, it is actually horrendous. But there's much better ways to get that done. Just takes a little bit of math that I don't feel like doing. Or making an actor class for that, which I also do not feel like doing. So why delete instead of move? Because it is it's not shaped properly anyway. The thing that it was shaped for was the previous version of the hallway, which like twisted in that place, and the model itself was a little like fucked anyway. And it's gonna be very easy to just reconstruct that within the context of now, hey, we have this hallway. I'm gonna walk through this in a second before we do anything else. Just to see what the proportions of it are when you walk through it. Is it too big? It's probably not too small anymore, but it might still be too big. And if it is too big, I don't want to like put everything down and then figure out that it's too big, right? So we're going to check that now. I hope that I actually put that box in the level stream. Yes, I did. Okay, good. That was kind of scary there for a moment. Yeah, so this kind of feels like it might be a little too large. Not going to lie. Yeah, this definitely is too large. So we need to somehow shrink this down. Well, that's going to be an interesting question. How the fuck are we going to do that in a way that makes sense? Let's see if we can, like, select this, like, as a edge loop or something like that. So what we'll need, what we'll probably need to do is we'll need to select everything and just scale everything down. But I also want the, yeah, that's actually a good question. How am I going to do this? Edge slides. Edge slides would actually, would that work? The issue that we're going to run into is that I need like this entire outer edge to proportionally go inward. And I don't really have anything to slide the edges across anyway, I don't think. So, and this is kind of the annoying part, right? Because I can work with individual tries, and here we might be able to like do some more. Now we can't even select loops when we do this. We can select all, select everything. But really the way they want you to use all this is with polygroup edit. And with polygroup edit, like I can select, it just kind of decides what the polygroups are. And that can be kind of really annoying. Right, like I can scale everything down. That's not a problem, but that's, I don't want everything to just be scaled down. If that was everything I needed, that wouldn't be a problem. So yeah, the user experience and like interface control in Blender is like definitely better. You won't hear me saying anything about Unreal beating it in that. I don't even like fucking care that the pivot point is all the way over there for now. We can fix that later. I just want to feel if this improves literally anything. Also, I think... What the hell even happened here? Fucking... Let's go. Lattice. We'll fucking just do this with a lattice. It's gonna be clunky and not clean, but it doesn't need to be particularly clean, I don't think. Yeah, so maybe this is not the way to do it. I mean, it kind of works. The biggest issue is that it's just too wide. Which I guess, actually, hold on, maybe I can do something else about that. If we just go in, how is this not seen as one fucking polygroup? Well, at least we can do it this way. This is gonna fuck up the curvature. Oh, that's not what I wanted to do. This is gonna fuck up the curvature. And I also do need to do it on the top equally. Like that's quite important. That's good enough. Let's take these. So if we take this and we just like scale this down a little bit, right? And a little bit in this direction as well. Like that kind of accomplishes what I wanted to. And then we can just move it a little bit. And then what the fuck even? What is happening? What the hell is this? Is that because of what I just did, or was it already there? Oh, that's because I moved it. Isn't it? Oh, and that's because... that... I don't know. I don't know how I'm gonna work with this. I guess maybe we can do some more with warping, actually. Hold on. I have an idea. It's probably a bad idea, but I have one. So what if we take this and then we like pull this? That's not gonna work that way, is it? Never mind. I thought that would maybe like pull this back in a little bit, but clearly it doesn't. Yeah, you need at least two of those handles doing something, which makes sense. This one also needs to like have something going on at least. Yeah, the yellow handle is kind of the area of effect. That's a good way of thinking about it. Offset the surface of the selected mesh. I mean, if I could do that selectively with a follow. Like this does make the whole thing more narrow, which is exactly what I want. So can I just say, hey, do that like 500? Oh, fuck. It doesn't do it for the edges. That's because I have create shell on right now. Boundaries. I mean, this is a cool effect. I'll give you that. It's definitely not what I want, but it's kind of neat. We can make it. We can give it a weight map. Okay. Smooth. Just smooth. Displace. That just adds a displacement map, right? Yeah, it's just a Berlin. It's nice still, but not what I want. Yeah, it's definitely also not the way to do it. Yeah, for sewer pipes or something like that would be deform polygroups. Hold on, what would that do? What the fuck? What the fuck? Okay, can I now select... I just want to select multiple polygroups first before we do that. And then I actually need to scale them anyway, so it's not going to matter. Can I manually combine polygroups? Is that a thing that I can do? That definitely wasn't edge sliding. That was just moving a couple of edges in the same direction. That wasn't edge sliding. I can promise you that. Simplify by group. I'm gonna see if I can combine polygroups. Not in ZBrush, you fuckhead. That said, though, if we do have an edge slide, that would work for these vertices. If I can just slide these in, that would... Yeah, so let's actually... Modeling mode edge slide. Let's see if that's something that we can do. We can just slide them all proportionately. Unreal modeling mode. Combine polygroups. Yeah, this subdivides the entire mesh. That's not what I want in like two different directions. I don't know. I feel like what we're running into here is very simply just like Unreal not being like quite there for like this type of modeling after all. Like I again, I still think that struggling through this, it's not even that much more bothersome than doing this in Blender and then coming back in, because if I need to do this in Blender, every time I want to test something, go back into Blender. It's just, that is like just asking for so much trouble as well. Especially with like enemy placement and that type of stuff, then like I really don't want to do that. Again, very specifically speaking to, that's not too bad. Like this can't be the way they intend you to do it, right? Like this is insane. Yeah, I have no idea how it decides what or when something is a polygroup, which is part of the issue. It doesn't seem like you can manually do much with that. So, got selected mesh with an extruded polygon. What the fuck does that even mean? Oh, attributes, maybe it's in here. Add material, paint maps, simple collision editor, mesh collision, tangents, LOD manager. Yeah, none of this. Miscellaneous, auto LOD, pivot actor, mesh to volume. Could be interesting. Not what we're looking at right now. Paint polygroups. Did you see paint polygroups anywhere? Hold on. Paint polygroups. That could be interesting. Let's see. Yeah, so that might be it. Can I make my brush size smaller? And oh man, these colors are fucking killing me. Yeah, so this allows you to paint individual tries to belong to a specific polygroup. Can I set active polygroup? It's just default. Fantastic. Probably like make a new one, right? Somehow. We'll get in there. Well, I'm glad that they have this manual painting in here at least. Because if there's one thing that I don't like is software saying, hey, I know what you want, just let me do it. It's fantastic when they have that option. It is fucking horrendous when that's the only option. Oh, so this is where we can like set the polygroups. So if I now set this to 1, 2, 4, right, and then I paint over it. Okay, so this is just like 1, 2, 3. And this will be one huge polygroup. I don't know if this is going to fix much, but this might make it at least easier to go through. And I can probably do a slightly like bigger brush for this. We'll go through the walls again in a moment to set them to our own polygroup, so might as well be a little rough with them right now. Right, so then we can say, I don't know if like, how do I know if a certain polygroup already has stuff assigned to it? I suppose I just start at like 999 for the custom ones that I want to make. It has the same color as this one. That's not good. That's probably not good. but I don't know that. Selecting by further rather than cursor radius. Yeah, that would be also helpful. Oh, look, that is nice. That is nice. Fuck. Just need to be a little bit more patient and just accept that I'm working with a smaller radius here, and that will be that. Oh fuck, now there's one in here somewhere that has the same color but is not the same fucking poly group, right? Oh no, that's... Okay, that's fine then. Well, at least we're learning something today. How to set up like these poly group paint jobs and stuff like that. That's quite nice. That'll make it so much more flexible to actually work with this stuff. I've got an idea. Let's do the bottom and the sides here. And then we can fill the rest in a little rougher with a bigger brush. Right? That's what I'm talking about. That's so much faster. Holy hell. Okay. And then I guess we go down to 998. And let's keep that strategy going, because I actually quite liked how fast that was. It's probably not going to work as well for this little turn that we have over here, but we'll make it work. Probably don't even need to scale this one down that much, if I'm being real with you. Yeah, okay. And then we can just very easily do all this. I mean, this is a little tedious, I'll give you that. But hey, it's not too bad. It's going fairly well. And then we'll go down to 997. I sound like a very disagreeable German right now. 997. I don't know why Germans always need to sound angry. It's just kind of what they do. Like stereotypically speaking, I mean. You can tell that I'm starting to like focus a little bit on what I'm doing, because I don't want to make any annoying mistakes, because my energy in my voiceover is just absolutely tanked. I feel like I am literally like in a circus tent right now with all these fucking color beams. The way that they are looking. But we'll finish this up soon enough. I kind of wish that they weren't categorized by number, the poly groups. I get why. But it would also be kind of nice if you could refer to them as like some sort of object reference in this menu. Like when you click on one, it just highlights it or something. Maybe there's a function for that. Just like all based on the numbers. But this should now be all, give the auto exposure a moment, all be like effectively one poly group. So if we have like poly group edit, I'm just going to set this to unlit again. This is now one thing, right? So, fuck. Almost. I missed a couple of spots. Oh, that's really annoying. And that is exactly why we want to be able to do that type of thing. So that I can like filter on this stuff as well. Well, we'll go back into painting polygroups, I suppose. To be fair, it did say 94 there, but it has the exact same fucking color. And I can't even set their colors anywhere. So if they just happen to look kind of alike, I'm just screwed. Right? That's what we're going for. I just need to kind of guess. I think I took care of them now. Maybe. Hopefully. At least if you're going to do this way, fucking ensure that the colors have a wider, like, spectrum than, like, 5 different colors? 6 different colors that I can see? That would be helpful. If you could do that. At least you have the numbers there as well. So when the numbers disappear, you know, okay, now I'm good. I think the ceiling is pretty good though. So I think we officially are good now, right? So that is properly done. So I can select all this. I swear to God, if this doesn't work the way I want it to work, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna be very upset now. Okay, let's actually do this with number inputs instead of by hand. So let's just set this to like 0.5 by 0.5. And we can like move it around a little bit as well. And then certainly like you can see that it becomes more narrow here. But once this like little turnaround is more or less the size that we want it to be, we can then work on the rest later. Like that's the most annoying part, and I think we at least have a handle on it now, like literally speaking. So I don't know why it keeps giving me an error about golden null gameplay effect class. Ability system components. Need to look into that. Like, it's fine if this is a little bit wider and then it goes. I think this is kind of okay. Can just put a couple of enemies in a place here and then we can have some platforming. Like what I'm thinking is we have a little bit of light platforming up to an area here. And then we have some platforming back down to this. So we don't even like need that area that I had up there a moment ago because we have like more like visual intrigue going on. You don't even see the end when you come in, unlike before. Well, you didn't technically, but so yeah, let's in lit mode. It's going to be the easiest way to model this. Back into modeling mode. I can just kind of put down a fucking giant thing. Use polygroup edit. Just select everything. We have a select all, right? Thought we did. Maybe we don't. Definitely need to select all mode. Unless I'm just missing it. I don't think I am. Anyway, for now, this will do because it's just 6 faces anyway. So this is fine. And we will just say, hey, we're going to be making this thing bigger. What the hell kind of scaling is this? Why does it scale that way? What the fuck? Oh, because I rotated it first. Okay. That's kind of messed up. Guess we'll just do this then, something like that. And then... starting to see the argument for doing this stuff in Blender anyway. Starting to see it. But I won't admit to it. I guess if we now select it... no. Okay. You know the fuck what? Just use normal scaling instead. But that messes up like UV stuff. Yes, I know. Blame the people who made the modeling system. Don't actually blame... well, maybe kinda. Because they don't actually blame them. They did a pretty good job making what they made. But only kind of. So, a quick question. Not sure if you'd know the answer regarding merging objects in Unreal. What do you mean with merging objects? As in, like, having a number of different meshes, putting them together as one static mesh, because that would technically be one less actor that it needs to load in, because it loads everything in at once. But the overhead of having like one more actor, especially if it's something that's static, is so incredibly less than the amount of performance it takes to actually like render and have those meshes and materials in memory that it probably doesn't matter. But on a very technical level, yeah, if you combine objects, like combine meshes into one like packaged level instance or something like that, that's what level instancing is kind of like for. It is technically more performant as well. Okay, with all that, actually, like the but this now does have that weird scaling. I don't know that I like that, because it's probably not going to... let's just see what it does when I try to auto UV this. Yeah, the UVs are still going to be stretched, right? Yeah, they're still stretched as fuck. So I actually don't want to do that, I don't think. But now that it is properly in place, hold on, now that this is properly in place, we can set this back to 111. And now go into polygroup edit mode. And just, oh, for fuck's sake. Why can't you just... I guess if I extrude it, we'll extrude it along its own normals, actually. So that's fine. We'll just do it that way. Don't know why I didn't think about that earlier. But here we are. And this I can just pull up. That's fine. Like here, why would I want to select all these at the same time? Like, actually, that is... just want to select this one. Yes, and I would like to edge slide this one now, actually. Okay. I guess we'll... just going to do this. That does the trick, more or less. Okay, so if I combine meshes for the environment that aren't interactable, that really wouldn't matter that much. It depends on a bunch of different things. Like, if you have thousands of them and they're all the same thing, you want to combine them, but that's what foliage is for the most part, right? So you'd use the foliage system for that. But if you just have like 5 or 6 different meshes and they always belong together, like there's no reason not to combine them at that point. So you might as well. Specifically also because then you have them in one place to edit them. And they'll update all over, like across the board, because that's, again, a nice thing about level instances. But by and large, like you're not going to notice that in performance for the most part. Like, again, for if you have thousands of something instance all over the place, putting that into like the foliage system that is equipped to deal with that kind of stuff is a good idea. But just like combining some meshes into either like one big static mesh or a level instance is more of like a workflow thing, I would say, than it is a performance thing for the most part. On a technical level, it does, again, surely improve your performance, but I personally am a big believer of don't get bogged down by technically this is true, because if something is technically true, but it makes your life a living hell and doesn't actually do anything in practice, you don't fucking like buy anything from that, right? That's a waste of time. Okay, let's make this like 200 by maybe 500 by 500 for now. That's a bit big, isn't it? 200 by 200 after all. And then the height will be pretty low for this one. Actually, I have an idea. Like if we put this one over here. I can put another box slightly bigger, maybe even. Over there. You can pretty much instantly probably jump from this to there, but if we put an experience orb in here, you probably won't notice it on your way through this direction, but if you ever come back this direction, you can immediately notice it. I actually think that's a pretty brilliant idea on my part. Let's put that in. I don't know if I would say brilliant, to be fair. But I do think that's at least a nice idea. So we'll give like 500 experience here. And at some point, I'm sure I'll forget that we need to put this to an event flag as well, that we picked it up. For now, I don't care. So, okay. Let's extrude this out and then insert an edge. What the fuck? No, not there. Insert another edge. Maybe, maybe not. Actually, I have an idea. Let's extrude this out a little bit more first. Right, and then we can add another edge here. Somewhere. There we go. And extrude this one again. Just pull this out a little bit so that it clips into the wall. Probably can do this with an edge loop actually. Yes. Did I just get a fucking... I don't know. I heard a phone sound. I'm like, my phone is on silent. What the hell? It's probably someone outside that my microphone's picking up. You see, that gives us a little extra thing to put some decoration in as well. Oh, that would have been much easier, thank you. So if I, just for shits and giggles here, if I go into polygroup edit, do we have like a merge? Oh, we have a merge. So I can say, hey, these two belong together. Oh, thank goodness. Thank you so much for figuring that out for me. That is so much better than what I was doing. Holy hell. Oh, that's chef's kiss. That's amazing. That's fantastic. Thank you. Really, really good. Well, one less headache is what I would prefer to call that, but we can be a little bit I was going to say optimized about it, optimistic. Also starts with OP, very different word. We can be a little bit optimistic about it, I suppose. Let's pull these three down just to have like a little bit of like up and down for some intrigue. Push pull these down like quite a bit actually. I think this is starting to make for some good stuff. Let's actually make sure that all of these meshes are labeled in their collision settings as custom so that they have ledge grabbing. Let's just walk through it. Been a while since we did that. So yeah, we didn't very much make a lot of progress today, did we? Because we got stuck on Unreal's modeling mode tools, but we'll get there. Okay. Let's see. You can make this one fairly easily. It's the XP over there. Make that one fairly easily as well, actually. I probably do want to put in one more pillar in between. And then this jump is literally unmakeable, right? Like, even with ledge grabbing, yeah. Not even close. Yeah. Actually, why am I even doing it with... Hold on, hold the fuck on. Why am I even doing it with these things? Because I literally have a skull tower blueprint for this exact type of thing. So the size will be like 5. The height will be like 10. Yeah, we can make it work like that. Might as well just put in your art assets when you have them already, right? So make this 7 and like 16. And then put this one like over here. I think like 22 and 8. Why is it just skulls stacked up in this random hallway? Don't question it. That's why. Because it's a catacombs or a crypt or whatever the technical term for it is, I don't know. Because it makes me look like I know what I'm doing. Aside from the fact that that like little lock on radical is not parented to a bone on those guys. I don't know what I'm doing. Well, that's embarrassing. I missed that jump. Anyway, so yeah, we can do this, and oh yeah, they don't have they don't have ledge grabbing, do they? Which actually makes this platforming a little bit more difficult as well, which I think is probably good. Yeah. Like the catacombs in Paris, gotta keep the bones organized. That's exactly what this blueprint is based on. The idea that like the Paris catacombs, if you're walking through them, the walls are just skulls, right? Probably want to make sure that... Here we get into an interesting question, right? Do I want to make the platforming such that I can reasonably make every single jump without dashing? Like, this is clearly makeable without dashing, but it's a pretty tight jump. Or should I take into account the fact that people have a dash? I mean, I don't have the physical room here anyway to put them that far apart, but it is an interesting question. The amount of meshes that exist in these towers is kind of insane. I'm very glad that Unreal has a system for instancing meshes, because otherwise this would be fucking nuts. I initially made those blueprints. I might as well show it real quick. The thing is, I should point out when answering that question, the dash does take mana. It does take MP. So if you don't have any MP, this is the platforming room that I made that for initially. So if you don't have MP, you can't do the dash. That said, it only takes like, I think literally 1% of your max MP to do it. So you'll probably always have... I could have just done this. You'll probably always have enough to do it. I think. I imagine. You know, I have an idea for what I want to do here. I just want to put in a bunch of fucking skulls. Oh yeah, the skulls are tiny, aren't they? They're really fucking tiny. Okay. 25 times the size, maybe 50 times the size. I don't know. I don't know what happened there, but I'm not going to change it now because I'm using it in a bunch of different places. And after this dungeon is done, I'm not going to be using them anymore because they're specifically made for this dungeon. So we're going to be simulating physics on all these. Ooh, that's actually going to be a thing. I don't know how that's going to work with streaming levels. I guess we'll fucking find out. And I'm going to put just a bunch of these things. I can actually copy over multiple at the same time. Make this a lot faster. Just putting a bunch of them like right over here. And they're not all going to be physics objects, by the way, in case you were wondering, like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Do you want to melt my CPU? Just going to play the game? Well, I guess actually what we'll do, I've got a better idea. So we'll go into the actual level for it. 1-3 hallway. Does it regenerate? It regenerates when you get to a save point, and it regenerates anytime you hit an enemy. I think it regenerates 10% of the HP that you do in damage back to your mana or something like that. It's a little arbitrary, but that's what I have it as right now. It's probably going to change in the future anyway. So yeah, all these fucking things, we are going to simulate the physics on them. Has complex, has simple collision. Ooh. Well, we can temporarily change that. Or can we just change that here? No. We'll just temporarily change that in there then. Okay, so we simulate this. You know what? Maybe we need to have them spaced out a little bit more so that they don't interact with each other that much. So I do want them to kind of like pile up a little bit more. And when they're literally inside each other, don't take that out of context, they kind of blow all over the place. I didn't even do that on purpose. Well, I did. I was going to say it, and then I caught myself before saying it, and then I thought, oh, actually, it's kind of funny anyway. Yeah, so maybe it's just like too many skulls anyway, right? But we can delete the skulls that we don't want in the moment anyway. So we can just say, hey, all skulls that are low poly. So low poly skull like 2 through fucking 50 something. If we then just right click on these, keep simulation changes. Boom. Now they're all scattered on the floor. I love that trick so fucking much. Like these three definitely like don't need these over here, right? And then we can take out a fair few of these as well. Yeah, if you just want to scatter like props in your level, that is such a fantastic way to do it, because putting something down in a way that feels natural is really difficult. And that makes it a little bit more doable. And now that we've done that, what I can do is I can just take some of the ones that we have left. What the fuck is going on here? I in world space. And just simulate them again. And then once that is done, I'm going to turn off simulate physics again, because you do need to turn that off again. Well, you can keep it turned on if you do want to actually like keep simulating physics throughout the game itself. In this case, I do not. And that kind of like will create this little pile that we have of skulls, which will be kind of neat, I think. So let's simulate again. Actually, I think what I'll do, And you'll note that when you don't do that, of course, they do snap back to where they started. I think what I'll do is I'll take all these and I will already turn off simulate physics on them so that they just become normal geometry that these things can land on. Do keep in mind though that this only works with objects that don't have their collision settings set to complex for some reason, which makes sense actually. So let's simulate physics off for all these. And then only the ones that we are running here will simulate physics again. You know, that one just rolling a little bit further away is fine, honestly. Yeah, and then we'll just honestly select them all again. That's fine. Keep simulated changes. Stop, and then we will let's take these as well. Just make sure we have them all selected. And turn off simulate physics. And there we go. We have a pile of skulls. I don't know why the fuck I'm doing art stuff when I'm trying to design a level. But I kind of got distracted by adding in these skull things. So I guess there's that. Game settings. Oh, one more check. You all right? Thank you. I almost messed that up. And now we want to go back into our persistent level because I want to actually test this. I guess actually I could. Would that work? I've never tried that in this project. Like play from here. Does play from here work in this project? The answer is no, because the default pawn is set to nothing. Okay. That makes sense. I could probably get that fixed up, but I don't care. I don't know why I'm playing again, because all that I did is adding those skulls, and those don't even impact gameplay at all. So what am I doing? You know what I'll be doing is I will be... Them do be some big skulls though. I will also be going back through, and where is everything? Purple dungeon, pretty please. There we go. I do need to set this back to using complex collision though, because I have some like very big versions as well that I want to be able to like accurately jump around, like this one. Probably should have like a low poly and a high poly version of it or something, or a complex and a simple version, but okay, I want to do a thing actually. Now that we're looking into like art stuff anyway, and I'm kind of running low on energy as far as like creativity goes, if I'm being 100% honest. So if you just go into polygroup edit, it's not polygroup edit actually, I'm just lying to you. Why would I do such a thing? I want to go into the edit materials. Let's set the materials on these things. So the... What the fuck? No, not there. Thank you. Selection mode. I think you can do this by polygroup, right? All connected? That's literally everything. Okay. Visible, angle filtered, volumetric brush, all within angle by material, all in group. Okay, so we can do this by polygroup, which is really quite nice. So we can just select the floor everywhere. I'll take this as a floor too. Apparently this doesn't belong to any polygroup. It's a different object, that's why. And we'll set this to being a floor material. So we can just add a new material, or just put this as the actual... We have floor material, there we go. Everything is now floor material, which is world projected, so it looks kind of goofy. Oh, this also needs to be a nanite mesh. We'll take care of that in a moment. But we first definitely need to update all this to have the wall material as well. Like the bricks that the rest of this dungeon has in the walls everywhere. Which also, unintended, but it works quite well as floor material as well, actually. I think I just called it something like brick. Oh no. Wall. Oh no. Oh, world-aligned brick wall instance. And then we assign active material. Right. Yeah, the UVs are fucked. But it's supposed to be world aligned. Oh, it is world aligned, isn't it? That is the issue. No, it can't be. That's not how that works, like even a little bit. Hold on, what the fuck? Unlit mode, please. Yeah, this is not world aligned. This is using UVs. What the? Right? Yeah, this just uses the UV, so that's not world aligned even a little bit. Well, let's auto UV this and see. Probably want to use X-Atlas for this, right? Well, that's almost not super ugly. It is. It's really ugly. What are your thoughts on procedural generation dungeons? I mean, if you're making a roguelite, sure. Skulls moving through one material circle. Yeah, I actually really like that effect. I'm quite happy with how that came out. Like, it's a pretty easy effect. It's just like this thing with a with like some scrolling that it does here somewhere. I might have just made my own scrolling, to be fair. Oh, into the UVs. Yeah, probably here. It's like collapse nodes. Oh, we have a panner. There we go. And then it like distorts that panning by a noise texture, so that it doesn't equally pan up everywhere. So there's a little bit of wobbliness to it, which is quite nice, I think. Ideally, I would also, yeah, so that pans, and that then like changes the coordinates a little bit for the actual panned textual coordinates. That's what's going on. It's getting added together. That goes through the bump offset, which is used here for the texture sample. I don't think that actually does all that much. And then the output of that is multiplied by another like set of noise textures, so that it only shows in certain places. and then it's also multiplied by the brightness, like the luminosity value of the actual input texture, so that it only shows in the lighter bricks, I believe, is what it does. So something like that. It's quite cool. Let's fucking transform UV. It does make the material directional though. Meaning that because it has like that scrolling element to it. Let's put this at like, oh, 1% is definitely not it. Like 10% and 10% maybe. Oh, that's definitely not it either. As because of like the delta mode thing, isn't it? Yeah, about 10% for both seems about right. So let's do that for everything. I think you can multi-select in this mode as well. We're about to fucking find out. You definitely can. And then hopefully these are all relatively... Oh, that's translation. That's definitely no. I might need to just do these UVs manually as well, because there's some bricks getting weirdly cut off as we go along this bend. Maybe just scaling things down will fix that up. I also, yeah, it might be the case that some of those ghosts are now going to be going downward instead of upward, which is not exactly what I was looking for, but we'll see. I also think that the size of these bricks is like, well, I was going to say it's not even close to matching, but it's pretty close. I think. Yeah, so those ghosts are going up, but those ghosts are now going down, which, to be fair, I feel like it's not actually that big of a deal. It's kind of cool. There's also one light just hanging out here. No longer. But I do feel that the purple comes across as a little too dark in general, right? So that's something to look into. Even the auto exposure is like, what the fuck do I do with this? Oh, hold on, that's because I'm outside. Okay, now I'm not outside. Even the auto exposure doesn't know how to expose for this, because there's almost nothing to expose for. But that said, with the fact that everything is dark, the UV seams definitely aren't obvious anymore, so that's kind of nice. I actually do think that the random directions are kind of nice. Yeah, that works out fairly well. It's not what I intended, but, you know, sometimes it just do be that way. Okay, we also need to set this to being a nanite mesh, because a lot of this stuff uses... What the fuck, man? Sure. Enable nanite support. Apply changes, pretty please. There we go. So you'll note that now we have the actual, like, physical offsets of both the bricks, which you can not fucking see, but more importantly, the floor tiles. So that's quite important. That's quite nice. Might make it so that we need to pull this along a little bit more. Same here as probably, yeah. Just pull this along a little bit like that. I kind of depends. It does cost some performance, obviously, because you're doing some black magic stuff to render less polygons than you strictly need to. On a mesh like this, it's probably only going to cost performance compared to not having it as nanite, because I'm enabling it as nanite for like a very clean and relatively well performance mesh distortion. The what's it called? Displacement. So yeah, that's a thing. And this entire mesh is probably like a couple of thousand triangles, right? So we have yeah, here it says nano triangles is at 2,500. For that, it's probably not worth it. But if you have something that is like 100,000 triangles, for the most part, the offset between the overhead cost of running it as a nanite mesh and then also the amount of power you save by not having to render all those individual triangles, because nanite is taking care of that, usually will do a pretty good job, as long as the game is running off of a decent SSD. That is important. If the game is running off of a old hard drive, you're going to be in a world of trouble, as far as I understand. I've never tried that because I physically don't have a hard drive in my PC, so I can't even try it. I only have SSDs. But nanite's definitely supposed to only run off of an SSD. Nanite is dynamic LOD, but it also allows for very fine detailed displacement because of that. Because it'll use a lot of triangles to like displace things really close to you, but it'll use less triangles back here, because it knows like it's doing it dynamically LOD within one object, even like it's doing LOD based on distance to the camera. That's virtual geometry. I have no idea how it actually works, but it is fucking insane. But within the latest couple of updates in Unreal, Nanite also like enables material-based displacement again, which is really, really nice. That used to be very expensive, and now it is only a little expensive. Like enough for me to throw it on the floor material for my game, because it just looks quite nice having those actual tiles in the floor. And to be fair, it probably isn't quite as needed in the in the walls here. I also need to have a material for the ceiling that is not the floor tiles, actually. Attributes, actually, like added materials, let's add that to favorites as well. It's quite nice that that's one big ass thing now. Okay. Add a material to that. Well, actually, maybe we can just, for now, assign that material to it. That'll probably be fine. Maybe, maybe not. We'll see. UVs. I'm also going to add transform UVs to my favorites. Is it just one big ass? Oh, it's one big ass UV island, right? So we can just set this to 10%, 10%, and then probably just rotate this 90 degrees. Probably doesn't actually matter that much. Oh, here you can see that this also has some like displacement in this material. Okay. Yeah, so we did some pretty drastic changes to this part of this level, or this dungeon, like to this level in general. And we didn't finish it. But I guess we'll be working more on this on Thursday stream. But I'm going to end now because my mind is melting and it's like very hot in here as well. It's like before I started streaming it was 26 degrees Celsius inside, and it's probably even hotter now. Let me see if I can. It's still 26 actually, but 26 is quite hot, and I do need this room to cool down a little bit before I try to get to sleep tonight. So I'll be back on Thursday doing some more in this level, I guess, and we're going to just go through every level in this dungeon like this and redo stuff. Probably not as drastically as we do here, because this was just a very bad hallway. Like this level over here already is a lot more finished, as you can see. We'll definitely need to look into like material choice for this. But this is already a lot more finished, right? So we have like these stair steps, we have a little bit of a combat challenge and a reward for it. We have like a little bit of a zigzag going on here, and then a stair step back down with an enemy here, and then we have some like, I don't know if I want to call this platforming challenges, but some lasers that can give you a bad day. So this is probably like mostly ready and done, I would say. So there's a lot that's going to go a lot faster. This, for the most part, also a lot faster that we're going to be done with it. There's probably a lot of balancing to do with the actual like enemies that we're going to be facing up here, that kind of stuff. There's a couple of levels like this, which are hardly levels, that are just hallways that need some more intrigue as well. Some of them can just be a hallway. Like sometimes that's just fine, right? But maybe like add in a bit more art in some of them when we have it. This one is a fucking mess as well. There's one entire ass level that we haven't even put in yet, so we're gonna take a look at that. And then eventually we also need to put in at least some materials and preferably also some other art for this boss arena. And that's like altogether just a lot of work that we need to do. But as an individual level, I think the one that we've been working on today and we're going to be working on Thursday is going to be probably the biggest change. And from there, it's hopefully going to calm down a little bit. And when this dungeon is done, I can finally give it to some people to play through it. For fuck's sake, it's been a while since I've had people play through my game. Like, nobody has actually felt my combat in probably a year at this point, which is insane. Anyway, thanks everybody for watching, for hanging out, for Googling things that I'm too lazy to Google. Thanks. And, what are your plans for this game? To maybe one day finish it. Maybe, if I'm lucky. Like, this dungeon that we're working on right now effectively is like 1/6 of the game. Once this is done, we just need to do this 5 more times. And potentially a 7th more time for a, like, final boss dungeon. So there's a lot of work ahead. Still. But hey, that's fun. I'll see you all back Thursday or some other time. Bye.